Hello and welcome back to Nerd Doc. With the theatrical release of The Flash, it's time to take a look at the post-credit scene, as well as how the movie originally ended before the changes, and the future of the DCEU characters in James Gunn's new DC universe. That means there will be spoilers for The Flash in this video. Don't forget to check out our other Flash video linked in the description below, which covers the plot, the actual ending of the movie, and the major cameos as well. There are chapter timestamps, so you can jump around the video as you wish, and if you have any questions or just want to chime in with your own take on the future of the DC Universe, leave a comment below. As a reminder, since the film is still in theaters, we can only show you footage from the trailers, so please bear with us there. You can get a full recap of how The Flash ends in our Ending Explained video, but as a quick summary, Barry Allen ends up in an alternate timeline in which George Clooney is Batman instead of Ben Affleck. This happens because Barry makes a change to the past that allows his father to be freed from prison. In the credits scene, Barry is leaving a bar with Jason Momoa's Arthur Curry, aka Aquaman. It's very clear that Arthur is drunk. The two of them are discussing how the multiverse differs from one universe to the next. We only get the last part of this conversation, but it's clear they were talking about how Bruce Wayne can be different, but Barry and Arthur were the same. While Arthur did not actually exist in the universe Barry spent most of his time in throughout the movie, Barry does make a reference to Tom Curry, Arthur's father, who named his dog Arthur since he didn't have any children in that universe. Barry doesn't outright tell Arthur that he didn't exist in the other universe, he just mentions that in all universes he was loyal, furry, and motivated by bacon. Arthur then collapses into a big puddle of water, makes a joke about being where he belongs since he's Aquaman and is currently laying in water, and then propositions Barry to buy him more alcohol by handing him one of his rings, which is an Atlantean treasure. What this scene means, coupled with the ending of the movie, is that Ezra Miller's Flash is now in the George Clooney Batman universe for good. Now, it's certainly possible for Barry to go back to the past and make more alterations to return to his original universe or change things up and end up in some new universe, but that's not what's going to happen for a few different reasons. First off, Barry's father has finally been released from prison. If Barry goes back in time again to make more changes, there's no guarantee his father will remain out of prison or that he won't mess something else up. Barry has realized that he can't get his mother back, but he's willing to exchange a Ben Affleck Batman for a George Clooney Batman if it means keeping his father out of prison and back in his life. Barry won't risk losing his father's freedom again. This also means that Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom probably takes place in the Clooneyverse as well, although it's unlikely we get any kind of reference to this, such as seeing Batman. So while there's no direct confirmation of that, we know the Batman cameo that was originally Michael Keaton, but then that was reshot with Ben Affleck, has been completely removed from Lost Kingdom. At first, there was some speculation that whatever Warner Bros. Decided to do with the ending of The Flash would dictate which Batman would cameo in the Lost Kingdom. The original ending of The Flash had Barry running into Sasha Calle's Supergirl and Michael Keaton's Bruce Wayne instead of George Clooney's Bruce Wayne, meaning that the new universe Barry ended up in would have moved forward with those two instead of Henry Cavill's Superman and Ben Affleck's Batman. This would have allowed Michael Keaton to appear in Batgirl and Aquaman, eventually leading into a Crisis on Infinite Earths adaptation in the DCEU. While no official announcements are likely to be made until after the release of Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, if only to salvage as much of the box office from that movie and The Flash as Warner Bros. Possibly can, don't expect any of the current DCEU cast to make the jump to James Gunn's DC Universe, aside from some of the Peacemaker and Suicide Squad roles. James Gunn has publicly confirmed that George Clooney will not be Batman in his new DC Universe. Leaving Ezra Miller in the Clooneyverse all but confirms a new Flash is coming. However, to play a bit of devil's advocate, if Gunn wanted to continue using Ezra Miller as the Flash, he would have to create a reason for Barry to risk losing his father's freedom, or at least some crazy reason for Barry to jump to another universe. Why would he go through all that trouble when he could have simply left Barry in his new DC universe with no clear indication of who Bruce Wayne was being played by? Gunn deliberately changed the ending to remove Keaton and add George Clooney. That said, Ezra could still technically come back at any point. With Elseworlds projects already in production, that leaves the door open for anyone to come back without having to be part of Gunn's main DC universe. Then there's always the possibility of using stories like Crisis on Infinite Earths to mix and match realities. Our best guess is that the Flash and Gunn's universe won't even be Barry Allen to better enable all of this to happen. There have been a number of different Flashes in the comics. Not only would someone like Wally West give audiences a completely new and different Flash, it leaves the door open to bring back Barry Allen whenever he wants, with or without Ezra Miller attached. We already know Gunn is casting a new Superman, aiming for someone younger than Henry Cavill. Then you have the confirmation we're getting a new Batman, who will probably be slightly older, given the fact that Damian will be involved, as well as the greater Bat family. Jason Momoa is heavily rumored to be coming into the new DC universe as Lobo instead of Aquaman, which probably means we're either not getting Aquaman anytime soon, or whatever Aquaman James Gunn uses will be closer to the traditional comic appearance instead of the more surfer dude vibes of Jason Momoa's take. There's been no official word on Wonder Woman, but with a new Batman, and a new Superman confirmed, and a new Flash very likely, it would be surprising to see the same Wonder Woman return. So expect a recast there as well, with the only characters making the jump from the DCEU to the new DC Universe being Amanda Waller's team from Gunn's Peacemaker and the Suicide Squad, and maybe Blue Beetle if the movie is well received. Even then, there have been rumors that Idris Elba won't return. What we know about the future of the DC Universe under James Gunn, based on what Gunn has said, reliable rumors, and common sense, is that the Authority will be the main villains of the first chapter of films and shows. What Gunn seems to be setting up is something along the lines of the Authority being the protectors of Earth, but doing it in a way that Superman is not quite comfortable with. Over the course of the first chapter of the DC Universe, Superman, or possibly Batman, will build a Justice League to show what the protectors of Earth should be like. This will lead to a direct confrontation with the Authority. For those unfamiliar with the Authority, they're a lesser-known team of superheroes, but they use extreme methods to get results. They basically do whatever is needed to complete the mission and squash evil. In the comics, they eventually take over the government for the greater good, which leads to civil unrest and the eventual destruction of Washington, D.C. Since they are a bit lesser known, Gunn has a lot of room to play with this team, so don't expect an exact retelling of that comic arc, but it should give you a general idea of where Gunn is going with this new DC universe. There's been no official word on who will be playing Superman, Batman, or Wonder Woman, but all three will play a significant role in the first chapter of Gunn's DC universe. We don't know exactly who will show up in Superman Legacy, but the Authority supposedly make an appearance, as well as Lex Luthor and Krypto, Superman's dog. There is some speculation that Jason Momoa's Lobo will also appear, with the potential for Brainiac as well, although most people with knowledge on the matter seem to think that it will be a setup for Brainiac to play a larger role at some point in the future. Add to that several members of the Bat family appearing in Batman the Brave and the Bold, which could easily mean Nightwing, Red Hood, Batgirl, and more, and it's clear Gunn is filling his new universe with plenty of characters to play with. So what do you think of the post-credit scene in The Flash? Do you believe this locks Ezra Miller away in the Clooneyverse, or do you expect this version of Barry Allen to appear in Gunn's DC universe as well? And what do you think of the Authority being the main villains for this first chapter? Let us know all your thoughts in the comments below. For now, that wraps up this video. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with someone who loves DC comics and films.